Mr. Man, Australia. Mr. Wyvie, Australian made. Poor Mr. Wyvie. Whatever happened, he worried about it. If it rained, he worried that his roof was going to leak. If it didn't rain, he worried that the flowers in his garden were going to die. If he set out shopping, he worried that the shops would be shut when he got there. And when the shops weren't shut when he got there, he worried that he was spending too much money shopping. When he got home with his shopping, he worried that he'd left something behind, or that something had fallen out of his basket on the way home. And when he got home and discovered that he hadn't left anything behind and that nothing had fallen out of his basket on the way home, he worried that he'd brought too much, and then he worried about where to put it all. Life was just one long worry for poor Mr. Wyvie. One day he went for a walk. He was worried that he might walk too far and not be able to get home. But on the other hand, if he didn't walk far enough, he wouldn't get enough exercise. So he hurried along worrying, or you could say he hurried along hurrying. He met Mr. Bump. "Hey, I'm heavy worried about you," he said. "Why's that?" asked Mr. Bump. "Well, I'm worried that one of these days you might hurt yourself." "Don't you worry your head about that," said Mr. Bump, and walked off. "Oh," tripping over his own feet, Mr. Wyvie went on. He met Mr. Noisy. "Hey, I'm heavy worried about you," he said. "Why's that?" asked Mr. Noisy. "Well, I'm worried that you might lose your voice." "Don't you worry your head about that," said Mr. Noisy, and walked off. Mr. Wyvie went on. He met Mr. Greedy. "Hey, I'm very worried about you," he said. "Why's that?" asked Mr. Greedy. "Well, I'm worried that you might eat too much and be sick," explained Mr. Wyvie. "Me?" said Mr. Greedy. "Eat too much? Impossible." He went off for lunch. Mr. Wyvie went on. He met Twilight Sparkle. "Hello," she said. "Who are you?" "I'm Mr. Wyvie." "And you look it," commented Twilight. "I'll tell you what," she went on, for she was a helpful sort of pony. "Why don't you go home and write down every single thing that you're worried about, and I'll make sure that none of these things would ever happen. And you won't have anything to worry about, would you?" Mr. Wyvie smiled. It was the first time he smiled in a long time. In fact, it was the first time he smiled that year. He hurried home in great excitement. When When he got home, he began writing all the things that worried him, every single thing. It was a long list. Then he went to bed and had the best night's sleep he had in years. The next morning, Twilight came to collect the list. "My goodness me," she said when she saw the size of it. "However, leave it to me. I'll check nothing would be a mishap. No need to worry now." Mr. Worry heaved a sigh of relief. That day was the first day he never worried about anything. And the next day, and the day after, and the day after that. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Mr. Worry didn't have a single care in the world. But on Monday morning, he was a worried man. Oh dear, what do you think is worrying him? Can you guess? He went to see Twilight Sparkle. "Oh dear," she said when she saw him standing on her doorstep. "What's worrying you now?" "I'll tell you," said Mr. Worry. "I'm worried because I don't have anything to worry about." He went home to worry.